Hello, everybody. I think we are live now. Welcome, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're all good. I hope you're all well. So, today I would like to do a quick chat, well, quickish, about phobias. Because being an hypnotherapist, I see quite a fair few people with a lot of weird and wonderful issues with phobias. And obviously, when we talk about phobias, everybody always come up with a usual common one. So the most common one, obviously, will be fear of spiders. I think that's a big one because little uh, creepers there have a reputation of being quite scary. You also have different one. Next one would be fear of flying. That's a very interesting one, especially seen as flying is the safest mode of transport. Yet people are terrified, petrified at the thought of stepping foot in a plane. I'll be scared of mumbling my words now. Obviously, you also have, after that, fear of dogs, which I find that quite sad in itself. Not sad that people are scared of dogs, but it's a bit of a shame because pooches are fantastic companies, and I wish that everybody could be able to live with them free of fears. And obviously, you also have the usual snakes, those slithering things that got bad reputation since biblical time, literally. And those are the one people always come up with when they think of phobias and think people are feared of. But there are also some kind of a little bit more seemingly bizarre fears which I've personally encountered in my clients. One which in the UK is a bit odd is the fear of rain. And it's no joke, I had two clients over the last little while who had that issue and basically being terrified of the thought of it raining. Obviously, as you can imagine, in winter in the UK isn't a great fear to have. You also have something like fear of tubular food. So whether it's macaronis or hula hoops or other kind of brand of similar snacks will send dread in people just the thought of having to even go anywhere near it. You also have, and I know someone very close to me has a phobia of making phone calls, and that person, which I will not name, Ribs, will do everything she can to not make a phone call. She will go to great lengths, texting, going in person if need be, but no phone calls. And another one, which I think is a bit mean in its name, it's Hippopotamonstrous something like that. Basically, ironically, that's the fear of long words. People who created the name for that fear are mean, and that's not fair on them. So the thing is, all fears, all phobias actually are actually odd and irrational. Some seems weirder, but they all are not right. I think they're not logical. They don't make sense if you really look into them into any kind of into any details. Of course, some are more accepted than others because they're built on a grain of common sense. Like, yeah, spiders could be scary, snakes can be dangerous, but really, they are fear reaction that are really over the top. Now, phobias are just exaggerated fear responses, and studies have shown that actually we are only born with two innate fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. Although some people are born without them, but to be fair, I'm sure that if you're anywhere near a cliff, you'll be quite worried about that. And you've all experienced it, I'm sure. A loud, sudden noise will make you jump out of your skin. That's the thing we are born with. Pretty much every other fears are learned behaviors. Whether it's snakes, spiders, the dark, it's all learned and generally developed at a very young age, and it's influenced by your environment and culture. So basically, a young child isn't automatically scared of spiders, but it's more built on cues from parents or peers or siblings. And basically, when you are very young, but generally under 7, you just get evidence on how to react in the world from people around you and the environment around you, and you quickly learn what you need to be scared of. So a child might not be scared of spiders as such, but they notice someone's reaction to it. Oh my God, a spider! And they learn from it. Oh, if that person is scared of spiders, I should be scared too. And you just build that and you create a response for that for later on. Or they may simply have had a traumatic experience involving spiders or spider webs. Now, if you're scared of spiders, I do apologize, I keep repeating it, but if you really have that problem just of the mention of the word spiders, give me a shout later when I finish the live. Now, a lot of fear responses are installed, so to speak, by the age of 7. I think it's generally very early on. But as we get older, we can still develop some fears, and that's often caused by trauma or issues we've had in a highly emotional situation, such as a highly stressed, or when you have suffered from high anxiety and something happens to you, that can really create that kind of reaction. For example, imagine a soldier who just survives an encounter with an IED that would have been hidden in a shopping bag. That would be quite a scary thing, very traumatic. And if that soldier will be redeployed and see another shopping bag, well, guess what? They will be scared of that, or very likely to be. They would have that freeze, fight, or flight response to it, because that person will have built an association between the cue and the fear outcome. So now the thing is, fears are useful. It's a very useful safety mechanism. It stops you from doing stupid or dangerous stuff, really. But there are times when those fears are out of control and way over the top, and they start affecting your life on a daily basis. And that's when we call them phobias, and they're very, very strong over-the-top reaction. And as I said earlier, they stop making sense. They are highly exaggerated, and they are an highly exaggerated response, from an overprotective part of your brain. And for example, it will stop you from flying, despite the fact that it's the safest mode of transport. Okay? It will make you run away from a friendly pooch, even though it might be a little friendly chap like this one, perfectly friendly, which is a shame. You can just pet it and have some fun. And also, it will incite you to just burn the house down over just a harmless house spider. And most of them in the UK are absolutely harmless. You're absolutely fine. So the thing is, phobias are emotional response. And even if the facts are telling you that the fear is justified, you will not listen to it, because you've got a conflict between the logical brain and the emotional brain. So logical brain says, yeah, spiders are fine. This ones are tiny. They can't do anything to me. The emotional brain says, yeah, but scary. And if you've got a conflict between fact and emotion, guess which one wins? Emotion pretty much every time. And that's the issue. So you've got a kind of a conflict going on there. Now, because phobias are learned behaviors, the good news is that it is possible to change that behavior. Some will use exposure therapy. It might work, but it's very unpleasant if you have to really confront something you're really scared of all the time. But it can work. You can retrain yourself to say, yeah, actually, I've been in a house full of spiders, and I'm okay after all. Scary thing. But it is unpleasant, and it doesn't always work. It can actually backfire and make things worse. So it's something you've got to be careful with. But with hypnosis, it's actually possible to rapidly change that overprotective mechanism and become free of that phobia. So sometimes it's about finding and processing that initial sensitizing event. If it's remembered, for example, if you remember the trauma of when you got barked at by a dog or discovered a big spider on your arm or whatever, and you can process it and get rid of the emotional charge with it. Or it could be a type of imaginary, safe, and actually often fun therapy exposure, when you really imagine yourself in a situation with all the things you're scared of, but turning it into something ridiculous, so much so that it's not scary anymore. Or sometimes it's just allowing your subconscious brain to reevaluate, okay, what am I doing here? And just reduce the the volume of the emotional response, basically. And for the vast majority of people, actually, one session of hypnosis or hypnotherapy is enough. People are often surprised how rapidly they can change that behavior. So now, will it mean that arachnophobic people will love spiders? No, although it can happen. And when they start to discover actually they're very interesting creatures. But at the very least, they will be able to deal with them in a calm and collected way, actually a safer way as well. Now, you don't have to love them, but you don't have to fear them. Obviously, you can still have a healthy distrust of them, especially if you're in Australia. You've got to be careful, but it doesn't have to ruin your life anymore. So, if you have a phobia and that's making your life hell, and it's really affecting your life on a day-to-day basis, even if it seems ridiculous, you don't have to live with it. So if that's your case, give me a call. We can discuss how I can best help you free yourself from it. And I promise you, it's going to be fast, it's going to be easy, and actually quite fun as well. Quite often people end up laughing about what they used to be scared of, which surprises them at first, but it's quite often the case. So that's all I've got for you for today. So obviously, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like my Facebook page, like my post. Please share it as well. Share the love, share the information about hypnotherapy. Obviously, if you're also watching this from YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, like as well. And yeah, also if you're watching this on a replay, I know quite a fair few of them are doing it, please feel free to leave a comment, #replay, let me know you're there. And if you have any questions or queries or feedback, please feel free to leave anything you want in the comments. I'll be reading them as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.